Happy Wednesday. Let's get ourselves set up for success here. I think you can hear me. I think you can see me. Yeah, we've got lots of gals on already on the YouTube channel. I mentioned last time that if you have problems finding us live on the Facebook group, that you might want to try watching on YouTube, because you actually can see when it's all set up and ready to go, and then it just starts. So it's kind of magic that way. So that might be easier for some of you who are having problems finding us live on Facebook. You don't have to keep refreshing. So hello, everyone. Hello. We've got gals from all over the place coming in. Glad to see you. Lots of people from across the states. I've seen a couple Canadians on there. Don't know if our Aussie and New Zealand friends are on yet, but we'll keep an eye out for them. Hello. People are on vacation, joining us from watching on their vacation. I feel very honored that you'd give up part of your vacation time to sit down and tune in with us. Well, thank you. There's somebody, Tracy is joining us from Mexico City, Mexico. Hello from over the mountains. I think that might be my friend Anne over in Invermere in BC. BC, of course, British Columbia here in Canada, suffering terribly from wildfires. City of Kelowna, the Shuswap area, their northern Thompson-Nicola area, all been ravaged by wildfires. Yellowknife up in the Northwest Territories, the entire city almost had to be evacuated. I know, of course, heartbreaking wildfires across the states as well, still recovering. It seems like the world is on fire, I tell you. But we are here today to kind of forget our troubles and forget the woes for a little while. If we haven't met before, my name is Noreen Smith. I'm the Product Development Creative Manager here at Creative Memories. And I get to be with you each and every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Central Time. And we get to do some fast and fun projects together. So forget your cares and your troubles and all of the unfortunate things that are happening in the world today. Join me for an hour and let's have some fun. Hello, everyone. Yeah, we got lots more gals joining us. Still fires, but under control for now. Oh, somebody's sneaking in to listen from work. Well, thank you. And I hope your boss doesn't find out. All right. Well, we are now on week 8 of our summer series of challenges, Sizzling Summer Challenges to be specific. So we've only got one more left next week. Can you believe it? The summer always flies by so quickly. Of course, for our friends down under, it's their winter. Hopefully these challenges have helped you pass your winter a little bit more quickly as well. We are going to move on to the next challenge here in just a minute. You may have already got a little sneak peek about what it's all about from the title in the Facebook group and on the YouTube challenge. But let's talk about last week's challenge, because our ghostly grids were a ghoulish success. I tell you, there are so many great interpretations of the grid format of layouts. Again, it's a go-to. It's an easy, but an easy formula or an easy layout to adapt to so many different things, but it always looks great. So again, you guys had so many adaptations that you shared. I saw for almost every season, every collection, so many variations. People added in strips instead of blocks. They changed up the size. They stretched it over 2 pages. I think I saw one that was a 20 grid. Just so many options. And because you organize it in the grid format, it always looks great and never looks too messy. Unless you maybe had, 20 grid pieces and they were all going different ways. It's really hard to make that look cluttered. It's an easy and straightforward layout formula. So if you didn't give it a try last week, make sure you give it a try. So many different examples. Loved them all. And we, of course, were focusing kind of on, I think I took my slide off. We were focused, of course, on Halloween. And the Halloween bundles were our fast and fun deal last week. And, of course, they're also the prizes for this week. So we've got 2 winners. Let me find my slide for our winners. We've got Bev DeBono and Lenore Burnett. So congratulations, lovely ladies. Thank you for sharing your your layouts with us. And someone from home office will be in touch with you. I believe Nicole or Sonia, and they will let you know how you are going to be receiving your prize pack. So again, Bev and Lenore, thanks so much for participating, and congratulations. We so enjoyed seeing your layouts. So this week we are going to kind of dip into another older collection. And I have to say that's been one of the really fun things about doing these challenges is being able to kind of go back and revisit some of our amazing collections. As you know, CM, we work really hard to bring you new and current and fresh products all the time. And sometimes we forget about some of the jewels that are already available. And the one that we're going to work with today is just that. It is absolutely a jewel. And that's the What a Zoo 2 collection. So you're going to see it in just a minute. And you will also want to know that it's the Fast and Fun deal this week. And the Fast and Fun deal should have gone live just a few minutes ago. And of course, it will be available until Friday at noon. But we're also going to focus on punches. So standalone punches, border punches, and border maker cartridges with our original border maker system. And I thought it was only sort of fitting to talk about how we could go wild with our punches using both punches and the What a Zoo 2 collection. So that's my little theme this week, going wild. So we are going to talk about punches, and I'm going to focus specifically on the zebra stripe border maker cartridge. But I want to go over the idea that your punches are workhorses, and they can be used in so many different ways. And many of you already know this, and you do this regularly. But for some of our newcomers, some of our new friends who are just beginning scrapbooking or, haven't really explored the wonderful world of Creative Memories punches, I want to give you a few hints and a few ideas and a challenge to use one punch in at least 3 different ways on your layout. So I'm gonna flip you over here in a second. We're gonna talk about punches for just a minute, and then we're gonna talk about what I'm planning on doing with my punch. But again, I want you to think about, this is a question I've often suggested that you ask yourself, what if? Okay, when you look at a punch, what if you cut it apart? What if you turned it on its side? What if you used it flipped? What if you, joined it together? What if you made it go around a circle or around a square? What if you used the pieces that fell out of the punch? So that what if is really the creative starting place for using your tools and getting the most mileage out of them. Really thinking about, I can use this border punch for more than just punching XYZ border. Okay. And again, many of us already do this. So for some of us, this is not new. This is something we do on a regular basis. But again, I never want to assume that people think the same way I do or scrap the same way I do. So I love to share all of these different things. So let me flip you over to my table. Let's talk about What a Zoo 2 really quickly, because as I said, it is a gem. It's a jewel. And we have an amazing zoo here in Calgary, Alberta, and we are season pass holders, and we go quite regularly to see what's happening. And of course, we love our giraffes. There's the giraffe getting fed. And then just recently, they actually had a botanical exhibit. So this giraffe here that you see is created entirely like a topiary plant, a topiary tree with a variety of different living plants. So, we go and I have all kinds of different little pictures of our favorite animals. So I thought I would pull out some to use today. And of course, the What a Zoo collection is great for those pictures of the zoo, all the different animals at the zoo, but it really is a wonderful sort of tropical themed or outdoor themed collection as well. And there are so many components that you can use. So we're going to use some of the Fast to Fab inspired designer papers. I love those so much as a great place to start the inspiration for a layout. We're going to use the What a Zoo Designer paper pack, and especially some of the tonals, to add some, mats and things like that to our Fast to Fab pages. But there's 3 different sticker packs in this collection. So we have our regular stickers with all of those fun animals. We have a set of border stickers that include, borders that can be used horizontally and vertically, including some titles. And then I think some of you realized that we had the What a Zoo letters the other day when the sticker buffet started. So these What a Zoo letters are definitely some that you'll want to make sure you grab to stock up on. And of course, those can qualify towards you earning your sticker file mate. So 3 different sets of stickers. We also have the very beautiful layered embellishments. These are really standout embellishments that can really make a page. So I'm sure I'm going to be using some of these. And then, of course, my favorite in every collection is the mat cards, because they're just, again, workhorses. You can, do so many different things with them. They can stand in as title cards. You can cut them up for, decorative elements, and you can use them, of course, for your journaling. So love all of those. I think I'm going to be probably working with this a lot, because I want to make my zebra stripe border maker cartridge do a lot of the heavy lifting for this layout. So as I said, I'm going to try to use this in 3 different ways on my layout. So let me just put this aside here, and let's just talk about border maker cartridges for a second, because again, a lot of you already know this, but some of you might not be familiar with the different styles of border maker cartridges. And once you know what you can do with them, you can choose the border maker cartridge that'll work best in your situation. Sometimes we choose it based on theme, but sometimes you can choose a more generic type of border maker cartridge that will do double or even triple duty. Okay, so let's just talk really quickly about the 3 types of border maker cartridges, or the words that you might hear associated with them. The first one is a chain style. And a chain style, I've got the Tiara Chain border maker cartridge here. A chain style separates the border once you punch it from the paper, and you get a strip or a chain. Okay, so that is a great decorative element to use on top of a border, kind of when you're layering, things like that, to punch out from various papers and add them to your layouts. You can also, of course, cut something like that apart and just have a single tiara. You can join them together to create a different look. So if I punched one that looks like tiaras, if I turned it on its side and punched a second one, I'd have kind of that mirror image, and it would just become a decorative punch. So again, when you're looking at the name and the picture, think what if. All right, so the first one is the chain. The second one is an edge style. And an edge style border maker cartridge, like the On the Farm, let me see if I can get that in focus a little bit better. There we go. The On the Farm border maker cartridge is connected to one edge of the paper. So it will just punch out a design on the edge. And the way you can always tell is when you flip over the cartridge, if you see space above the metal tooling and space below, then it's going to be a chain. That's going to cut out completely. If you see space above or below, but then on the opposite side, you can see that it is attached to the rest of the housing, that will mean that it will stay attached to the paper. So this will stay attached to the lower edge of the paper, and it will cut the upper edge of the little house and the fence out. So it will be an edge punch. Another edge punch is the new Dolphin. Sorry, I'm trying to get these in focus here. There we go. But this is opposite. So when you flip this over, you can see that it will punch the bottom edge of the paper. So you'll want to know those kinds of things as you start. Now, the other thing is that many of our bordermaker cartridges will punch out shapes. But it could be an edge style that punches out shapes. It could be a chain style that punches out shapes, or it could be a true punch out where it only punches out the shape. So again, knowing and understanding the how the different bordermaker cartridges work and how they're set up will really help you as you start to try and figure out how I can use this. Of course, when you punch this out, you're going to get the edge with the kind of the wave, and you're going to get those fun little dolphins. So I love that. It's kind of an edge plus a punch out style. One of the more recent punch out styles that we've had is the confetti. And this came out with Birthday Bonanza earlier this month. When you flip it over, you'll see that it does not punch away anything at the edge of the paper, either at the upper part or the lower part. It only will punch out these little shapes that you see. And that's the same thing with the bats and stars. So always look at the back of your bordermaker cartridge. And if you don't see any space at the edge of the metal, then you know that it's just going to punch out the shapes. Okay, so those are both punch outs. The canoe chain is kind of a different bird because it's a chain that punches out a shape. So when you flip it over, you can see that you get this fun little sort of wavy strip that will separate from the top and bottom, plus it will punch out a canoe shape. Okay, so all of those are different. And again, when you start to think, what if, when you know what your punch will do, then you can start to think about what you can do with your punch. All right. And again, if you forget these terms, not a big deal. Just take some scrap paper and punch, maybe just 1 or 2 times, and you'll soon see what you're dealing with. A chain style punch, an edge style punch, and or a punch that creates punched out shapes. Okay? So hopefully that helps. Now with our border punches and our standalone punches, those sometimes are a little bit more straightforward, but I really wanted to cover the bordermaker cartridges because I want to use, as I said, the zebra stripe. There, let me slow down there. There we go. The zebra stripe bordermaker cartridge. So when we flip it over, you'll see that it is not an edge punch as such. It will only punch out these sort of wiggly stripe shapes that you see. Okay, so knowing that helps me understand what I can do with it. So I know I'm going to have these wiggly shapes. I know it's not going to punch a design along the edge. So I need to take that into consideration. So what I think I might do, this is my plan. I want to use the wiggly little shapes. And anytime you're looking at a punch, I suggest you type in the name of the punch, if you know it, into Google or go onto Pinterest and type it in, because you will see what some of our amazing advisors and customers have done with the punches beforehand. And don't forget to go back onto the CM blog. You can get to it right from creativememories.com. Just look for the word blog. And again, you can use the search term to search, zebra stripe BMC, and you're going to get lots and lots of examples from our amazing content contributors. So don't forget to look for what others have done with punches. Okay. But I think what I'm going to do, I want to use the little squiggles. I've seen them actually used as bacon even, like amazing creativity people have when they come up with this. But I was thinking if I did a sun, those would be fun little rays. I think I also want to, punch out a border that maybe I can back with some paper so that the other contrasting paper will show through. And then I think I also want to do a photo frame with this, or a photo mat. So let's have a look here. I already did have a look at my Fast to Fab papers, and I'm going to use these two. I don't know for sure if that's a zebra hide pattern or not, but it's kind of a generic animal hide pattern, and it's the right colors for my photos, right? We've got some grasses. Of course, we've got the blue sky there, but I think that those colors, especially with the brown and the giraffe, that will work really well. So again, look at your papers, see what will work with your photo. So I'm going to use those two. And then I thought, because I'm going to punch out a border and it's going to show, these are going to basically be holes in the paper. It's going to show through to the paper that's underneath. So I wanted to pick a couple of contrasting papers for the base. So I think I'm going to go with this sort of gold. I could go with green, but I like the gold. And again, it kind of emphasizes the colors in the giraffe. So I've got two base pages basically, and I'm going to create two pages on top with my Fast to Fab papers. Now I could very easily, just take, my Fast to Fab pages and just organize my pictures on here. Maybe I've got a couple of 4x3s. I've got a 4x4, maybe map that one up. I could punch this out, a strip with some, contrasting cardstock, or I could even just punch a strip from the top and it would be good to go. Super fast, super fun. So I could do that, but I'm going to use my punch in 3 different ways. So let me tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to trim off just a little bit, 1/4 inch from the top, outside edge, and bottom of each of my Fast to Fab papers. And that's going to allow a little bit of this fun gold paper to show through. So that's what I'm just going to do first of all here. Oh, I think that was a 1/2 inch. Yep, that was a 1/2 inch. So I'm changing my plans midstream here. So I'm going to take a 1/2 inch off the top, the bottom, and the side. Okay, and then that way, when I put it sort of in the center, I'm going to have a nice little frame all the way around. So that looks good. Even though I took off a little bit more than I wanted, that looks okay. So let's go ahead and do the same thing here. And I really like the look of when a 2-page layout has something that meets in the center. I could take off a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch all the way around, but I really like that look where if the 2 pages meet in the center, you kind of have a really nice continuous look. So imagine this is going to be in your album and you're going to see it just like that. So it's going to be a nice sort of base. So I'd like to punch something out of the top here, but I don't just want to, punch along the top edge. I thought it would be really fun to kind of experiment and do a double punch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure how wide this is. Let me grab a ruler here. And it is just shy of 3 inches. It's don't ask me to do 8ths and 16ths, but it's 2 inches and then 1 notch past 3. So I'm just going to I could score it. I'm just going to do it kind of on do it this way so I can see. I'm just going to kind of do it with my eyeballs, and I'm going to fold that top border just in half. Again, I could measure and score, but I am not good with 8ths and 16ths. So I'm just going to fold that gently. Okay, so that's going to be halfway on the border. And then I'm going to punch through both layers at the same time. So I've got my original bordermaker system. Open up the paper tray, open up the magnetic arm, and then I'm just going to slide it in there. And again, this is, just thinking out loud here, this is the outside edge. So yes, I want to make sure that I start at the outside edge. So that's going to go all the way down. It's going to hold it there. Let's go ahead and punch. So I'm going to insert my zebra stripe BMC into the punch holder, and then I'm going to punch through the folded layer. So I'm just going to slide both in there and punch along. just as if I was punching a single layer. Our punches do great when you are doubling up on our designer weight paper. You might have trouble punching through 2 layers of cardstock, but 2 layers of designer weight is no problem. You might want to save all of these. I'm just going to gather them up and put them off to the side here just in case. But let's just have a look at what this is going to do. Now that I've kind of had that double punch, when I open it, it's going to be a great decorative detail along that whole border. So that's why I folded it and then punched through both, because then I get that punched out design through everything. And now you can really see that gold paper shining through. So let's do it again on this side, with the caveat that I'm just going to punch 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I'm going to leave the last punch, or I'm going to not punch the last time on my, sorry, I'm not explaining that very well. Let me show you rather than tell you. All right, so I'm going to fold this over again, fold it in half, just gently. I'm not going to make my crease too sharp here. Just enough to get it into my bordermaker system. Okay, and again, I'm going to start down here, but I am only going to punch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and I'm going to leave that last one open. And actually, I'm wondering if I should leave my last 2 open, because I'm thinking that that's where I want my title. Let's try just punching 4 times. All right, so I'm sliding my bordermaker cartridge in. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can always come back and punch 1 more. I can't unpunch, so I better just start with that. All right, let's take this out and let's see how this all looks before I do anything else. So, just kind of smoothing that down. There's one side. Let's see how this one looks. Yeah, I think that was the right decision, because now I have that continuous look across the pages, but I've got a nice little spot over here for my title. And as I think I mentioned, I think what I really want to do is create a little sun with, again, maybe some more of this kind of gold paper, and then use the little punch outs to make some rays. Okay, now for the sake of time, what I did is I actually went ahead and punched out kind of I gutted my paper. So I figured to myself, if I was going to have this covered over, I could still take a nice chunk out of this paper. And that would give me enough to do some photo mats and also perhaps do my little circle. Okay, so through the magic of, pre-planning, just pretend that I've already gutted those background pieces and I have some extra little bits of paper to work with. Okay, so I'm just going to pull these ones in. Okay, and I actually have another piece from another PAX if I need it. But I was able to get a couple of large pieces here so that I can play with them. So what I want to do next, I think, is make my photo frame. And what I mean by that is, this is not a frame punch, but what I could do is punch part of a photo mat so that the border design comes perhaps maybe above and below or side, on either side of a photo. So I'm really kind of creating a decorative photo mat more so than a frame. And so to do that, I'm going to start with a piece that is, if I'm going to use my 4x4 inch photo, okay, of my little giraffe here. So I'm going to start with my 4.5 by 6.5 inch piece of paper. Yep, double checking that that's right. And then what I want to do is I want to mark the center of it. Where's a pencil? I want to mark the center on the short end. So there's 4.5, so I want to mark at 2.25. And I'm just going to flip it around and mark 2.25 again, because I want to make sure when I punch, I'm going to space my punches evenly. So now the next little trick is, how do I get my paper into my bordermaker tray nice and evenly? So when you open this up, if you're familiar with this, you know that there's some measurements along this blue arm, and you can see if I can point to it. Right there, you can see that that is 6 inches. So that's the halfway mark. And really it corresponds with this with this kind of manufacturing mark here. And I've just kind of extended it, and I've just taken a pencil and I've made a mark here on my tray. So I think you can see that with pencil. So I know that if I line something up there and then punch using these two kind of punch markers, I'll get something that's nice and even. So I'm going to take my short end of my photo mat, insert it, and basically I'm just lining up the little mark that I made on the edge of my paper with that center mark on my original Bordermaker System paper tray. So now I know it's right in the middle, and if I flip that away and punch 2 times, my little frame is going to be in exactly the right spot. Okay? And again, I want to hold on to these. Let me just put them off to the side, and let me grab an eraser just to erase that little tiny mark. I can do that a little bit better later. And now I'm going to do the other side as well. You might have to play around if you wanted to do a 4x6 photo. You can see that this isn't going to quite be long enough. So I think you actually have to add another inch. So a 4.5 by 7.5 inch piece of paper punched on the edges will make a frame for you. Okay, but I'm using it for a 4x4. So let's put that little line into our tray, line up at the center, and punch twice. And you can do this with any punch. You could even do it with some of the chain style punches, because when you punch like that, it's not going to disconnect at the edges. But here I have a nice little frame for my 4-inch photos. There's just enough space around it to create a really pretty little frame. Okay, so my layout is coming together because I've already used the zebra stripe bordermaker cartridge in 2 ways. So I punched the double border by folding this top strip down and punching through both layers, and then I punched just twice on the edge of my 4.5 by 6.5 inch photo mat. Okay, so now I can kind of just, sort of maybe think about where else I want to put some of my photos. I love this one. So there's my 2 sons, and again, the big giraffe that's made all out of plant material. So I could do something like that. And then I printed these ones smaller. These are the giraffes as they come to their outdoor feeding area. So I probably have enough paper here to maybe mat one more photo, maybe get a 4x6 and then just trim the photo down, or maybe I could even mat both of my small ones. But that's kind of my organization of my layout. I like the way that looks. I like the way that looks actually over a bit like that. And I love how I don't really have to do anything here at the bottom, because all of this printed material from the Fast to Fab inspired papers is absolutely gorgeous. So I don't need a lot more down there. But let's go ahead and create a little sun up here. So I'm thinking that the inside of the medium CCS circle, and the blue blade. So I think that should give us about a 2-inch It'll give us a 2.5 inch with the red blade, 2.25 with the green blade, 2 inches with the blue blade. So let's go ahead and cut out one circle, 2 inches with my blue blade here. I like to put my pegs in first, and then usually I can cut very quickly. So yeah, I could still have a good chunk of paper there to do my matting. Okay, so there's my little sun. Okay, it's coming together. And then remember, I kept a bunch of my little punch outs, and then as I just add those around, this is where your repositionable adhesive, of course, is going to help you big time. But it all starts to really work together because you've used the same tool. And we talk a lot about repeating. We talk a lot about repeating different elements. And when you use the same tool in different ways, you automatically repeat the elements. So you can't lose. Not only is it happening, pretty fast because you're just having to use one tool, it's economical because you're using just one tool, and it's going to be, aesthetically pleasing because you're going to be repeating a lot of those shapes. Okay, so these were the ones that I punched out from this photo frame. So I think I would have enough, and it's okay if they go over onto the background. So something like that would be my third way of using the same punch. So isn't that fun? Really easy. And it's because we thought, what if? So what if we use it in a different way, as a little border, as a little photo mat border? What if we fold over the paper and double punch? What if we use the little pieces from the inside in a different way? And again, this one in particular, you're going to see some amazing designs. I believe Crystal and Matei, one of our amazing content contributors, created some little, almost like a little mane, on a giraffe. So she created a giraffe and then used the little things off the mane of the giraffe. Kylie King and my friend in Australia created some beautiful, fun animals with all of the little punched out pieces. And as I said, I think I've even seen examples of making bacon and egg pictures with the little squiggly lines. So this one is a great one because you've got so many different kinds of things that you could make with it. Okay, so I've used my one punch in 3 ways. I think I'm going to do a couple of things here to finish it off. I did cut one of the mat cards in half. Okay, so you can see, or not in half, but apart. That was the full mat card. And I wanted these little banner strips. So I thought that they could probably go down here somewhere. And I like the dark green against all the foliage because it kind of stands out. And then I mentioned, I think I'm going to be using a few of these layered embellishments because they are absolutely gorgeous. And again, so easy. You get such an amazing look with them without having to do a lot. I love that wild. So maybe, I wonder if I could fit this kind of underneath here. Something like that. Man, that's all you need. One embellishment, one gorgeous big embellishment there is all you need to finish off that part of the layout. And I'd love to put a title over here. So I've got a couple of different options. I had Best Day Ever. I think I like Animal Kingdom. That looks kind of good. I think maybe something like that would work really well over here. And again, I can maybe take out a few of these little sun rays, just sort of have that over the top. And then I could still add something else down here. I could add no, I don't think I'll add those. That zoo would be cute too, since I would have area over there. Oh, the leaves might be really nice. So just tucking some of those leaves underneath there, kind of having them just extend over a little bit. And then if I wanted to, I don't really have another natural place for an embellishment cluster, but maybe because we love the giraffe, maybe I would put something like that there or down here, or even this little tag here that has the little heart. Maybe that's just going to go over there somewhere. I don't think I need it. We often talk about that. Well, you need 3. Well, no, we don't. We don't always need 3 because we don't always have a natural place for it. In this particular layout, I think I would be quite happy with just 2 embellishments because I've got that great border that draws the eye all the way back over here. I could put something up here. I do feel it gets a little lost. But maybe if I had something up, no, I'm sticking to it. I don't think I need anything else up there. So I think, if you were looking at this, you'd start here at Animal Kingdom. You start looking at the photos. You've got the wild. You kind of go up here and then it brings you back across. That border does a great job of directing your eye. And it almost creates like the third part or the third line of a triangle. So I think really that that's what I would leave it at. 2 embellishment clusters, a little bit of journaling down there, and it's done because I have so much visual interest thanks to my punch. All right. I know it's amazing when you start putting it all together. And again, this printed foliage down here on the bottom provides lots of visual interest as well. So I really like that. So I will put this all together. Basically, I just have to adhere it. And yes, someone's saying sometimes less is more. Sometimes you're right. And if you've ever heard that famous saying by Coco Chanel, when you put on all of your accessories, take the last thing that you put on, take it off. So if you put on, bracelets on this arm, bracelets on this arm, necklaces and earrings, you might want to take one of the bracelets off. You take one thing off. So even though I was trying to get one other thing on there, I'm taking it off. All right. I'm staying at the status quo, and I really like it. And sometimes that's a gut feel as well. Okay. So again, before I leave and flip you over here, your challenge, it doesn't have to be with What a Zoo 2. It doesn't have to be with the zebra stripe bordermaker cartridge, but your challenge is to create a layout using one punch in at least 3 ways. Okay, you have to be able to see at least 3 different ways that you've used it. All right, so that is your challenge for this week. I will paste this all down. As I said, I've got a little bit of paper here, so I may just, mat those 2 smaller photos just so they stand out just a little bit more. But that's all that's the only other thing I'm going to do. Paste it all down, fill in my journaling, and I will post it in the comments for you to see either later tonight or tomorrow. Someone's saying, yeah, your son acts as a 3rd embellishment. We've got that nice embellishment cluster up there, which takes up a great amount of space. So definitely. Okay, let's come back together here. And as we kind of wind down for today, just a recap of where we're at. This is challenge number 8. So if you're coming along and keeping up with the challenges, you should have completed all 7 of the previous challenges. If you haven't, you still have basically a couple more weeks. This full week, and then next week we'll do challenge number 9, and then you'll have 1 more week to finish that. So you've got 2 more weeks to finish off all your challenges. I know there's been a couple of requests for hints as to the last challenge, people traveling or not able to join us for other reasons. And I hope you understand that we just can't provide those hints. Part of the fun of this series, of course, is, the surprise of the challenge, the surprise of the fast and fun deal, and the prizes themselves. So if you've been playing along and you aren't able to, create the last one, maybe think about, creating an extra challenge somewhere along the line and, submitting that or counting that as your final challenge. So I hope that there's some way that you can still participate, even though you might be traveling or you can't join us for that live. You still have a full week afterwards that you could get caught up, okay? But I hope you understand why we can't provide the hints for any of the challenges. I did provide a couple when we were doing happy albums and 12 by 12 album formulas, and that was just so that you could be prepared. But all of the rest of them have been surprises for everybody, so we'll keep that for our final challenge as well. Okay, so I hope you understand, and I hope nobody's too disappointed by that. All right, so this challenge, number 8, Sizzlin' Summer 8 is the hashtag. You have until next Tuesday, which is, as I'm looking at my notes here, that is Tuesday, August 29th. You have until 11:59 p.m. That's Central Time to post it in the Virtual Crop Facebook group. And then join me, of course, next Wednesday, which is August 30th, oh my gosh, for our final challenge, Sizzlin' Summer number 9. Okay, so that will be next Wednesday. And then we're into fall. Holy smokes. I know lots of folks have had their kids back at school in different areas. Our kids here in Calgary don't go back until after Labor Day. So we're still soaking up the last couple of weeks of summer. And I hope you are too, and taking advantage of any time off that you might have to have fun with all of these challenges. Okay, if you haven't got, I think I saw a couple of questions about the actual tracking sheet. Again, check the description above in the Facebook group, the description below in the YouTube channel. Just look for the description and you'll see the links. All right. Take advantage of the What a Zoo bundle Screamin' Fast and Fun deal, and that goes until noon this Friday. And if you haven't already, bought your letters to qualify for your sticker file mate, you can combine that and take advantage of both of those deals. So enjoy. All right. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. I will let you go. And again, don't forget, I will post that final layout with my 3 ways of using the Zebra Stripe BMC. You can look for that a little bit later tonight or tomorrow morning if I'm feeling a little bit lazy tonight, because sometimes we do. All right. All right. Enjoyed being with you guys today. We will see you next week. Oh, actually, no, I need to tell you one other thing. I will see many of you again one more time this week. Join me right here again on Friday, August 25th at noon CT, and that is for our final Scrapbooking 101 class. We've done 5 of them so far. This will be the 6th and final episode of that playlist. If you're an advisor and have some beginners, you'll definitely want to direct them to join us. And of course, it's a great refresher. We're going to be covering how to add decorative elements to your pages with borders and embellishment clusters. So some of you might want to join me. I may see some of you then as well. Okay? Always a pleasure. Have a great evening. Have a great week. And we'll see you next week. Bye for now, everybody.